What's up, fam? And welcome to Season 2, Episode 11 of BBI Talks. I'm your host, Professor Karima Lotus. BBI Talks is the platform where Black business owners and leaders discuss issues that matter to us. Today's topic, the Black Business Money Makeover Series. You heard me, fam. This is the series, y'all. So every week, every Wednesday at 3 p.m., we're going to talk about your money. That's right, your money. As a Black business owner or a business leader, we're going to discuss your money and how best to handle it, grow it, so we can have generational wealth. Our guest today, our featured Black business, is the Powell Benefit Group. If you checked out last week's show, you got a taste of what this sister has to offer by way of financial jewels. In episode 11, today's show, we're going to be delving into the science of money, and our guest, Sister ANETHIA Powell, is going to share with us the rules of money. We need to know that, y'all. Okay. Maybe not you. I need to know the rules of money. Maybe it's just me, right? I doubt it, right? I know there's other people out there. So here's a couple of questions I want to hit us off with today, right? Some things for us to think about that our sister's going to address. Do you know the rules of money? Do you know? Valette, do you know the rules of money? Did you know that generating wealth doesn't begin with making money? It actually begins with laying the foundation of protecting it. Woo! Mind blowing, right? Mind blowing. Our guest today is going to share with us what she means by that so that we can learn from it and apply it to our money, our financial goals. BBI Talks, Black Business Money Maker, y'all. Money Makeover. Every week, starting right now. BBI Talks, you know what it is. Let's go.
We gotta bring businesses back. My business is black. My business is black as the universe. I know why they mad, they gotta react, cause we're universal influencers. I can supply you the man, get what I need out the land. The earth is the kingdom of God. Glad that I know where I am. We gotta bring businesses back. My business is black. My business is black as the universe. I know why they mad, they gotta react, cause we're universal influencers. I can supply you the man. I can supply you the man. Get what I need out the land. Glad that I know where I am.
Sister ANETHIA Powell, are you there, sis?
I am. Can you hear me loud and clear?
We can hear you loud and clear. And we thank you so much for joining us today and every Wednesday moving forward as we go over just how we need to make our money over, right?
Exactly.
I want to first take the time to thank those of you who are joining me on Instagram Live. Rhythm My Time Only, Violetta B. Fry. Thank you so much for joining BBI Talks. And she said, Black people as a whole need to know the rules of money. You're right, Rhythm. You're right on that. And so that's what we're going to get into today. So don't hesitate to drop your questions in that comment section. And I want to thank those of you who are joining us on YouTube and Facebook Live. Please share, like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on. So that way, when we go live, you right here in the place. Unfortunately, Sister ANETHIA, her camera is not working for us today. Maybe later on the show, we'll be able to kind of work that out, but it still doesn't take away from the powerful jewels that this sister is capable of sharing with us. I mean, she's pulling from over 20 years of financial experience. I didn't realize till I was reading your bio, Sister ANETHIA, that you're a Clark Atlanta University alum. You there with us? Sister ANETHIA? Uh-oh. Seems like we might have lost our guest for a hot second. You with us? I'm glad you with us, Rhythm. I appreciate that. Let's see what's going on with our guest here. We had her in for a hot second, and then now we don't hear her. ANETHIA, are you with us? Let's see. Let me Sister ANETHIA, you with us? All right. Well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to buy us a little bit of time. We're going to take a break or an opportunity, and we're going to share one of our sponsors until we can get Sister ANETHIA online with us again. Okay. So let's give love to our sponsors who are going to Ghana, West Africa. Who wants to go to Ghana? It's dope out there. So let's give some love to our sponsors, and then we'll see if we can get our sister to reconnect.
Royal Sankofa Tours, bridging the gap and changing the narrative. We are now booking our fall tours to Ghana, West Africa, October 27th through November 6, 2021. Ghana is home to beautiful people, rich culture, tantalizing food, and amazing attractions. Book our 10-day tour today at royalsankofatours.world. royalsankofatours.world. Come home to Mama Africa. Hey!
PS Naturally Yours 1614 Oil. Let all things be done with love. 1614 is a nourishing hair, skin, and nail oil cultivated to transform your self-care routine with our unique natural essential oils that features sweet vanilla, citrus with a hint of cinnamon. PS Naturally Yours 1614 Oil is now available at psnaturallyyours.com.
This episode of BBI Talks is brought to you by our proud sponsor, Abdullah Daniels Group, LLC. We are a full-service life insurance agency that represents multiple carriers in all 50 states. For more details, log on to our website at adgllc.org or call us at 404-561-7480. Abdullah Daniels Group, Life Insurance Agency.
Sister ANETHIA, you with us?
I am. Can you hear
All
me
right.
now loud and clear?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. I can hear you loud and clear. So let's go ahead and delve in because, everybody is just anxiously awaiting what you're going to drop on us today. We are talking about the rules of money.
Absolutely. And, if money rules the world, but you don't know the rules of money, it's hard to win in the money game. So with that being said, I definitely want to go over some things, and I really would like to share with them and to show them exactly what I'm talking about, because the rules of money is not complicated, it's not hard. So, in a moment, I would like to pull up the screen so that they can actually see it. If we can do that coming up here. But the first rule of money, when we get to that.
Wait, before you get started, go ahead and just shoot me that email and I'll be sure to pull it up.
Okay. All right. That email was sent to you.
Okay. All right. Well, let's continue on then, because I didn't see it.
Okay. Well, let me just resend it to you real quick. Hold on one second. So when it comes to the rules of money and how money really works, it's fair to say that we have been dealing with money our entire lives, right?
Right.
Well, with that being said, if we've been dealing with money our entire lives, who have we learned, who did we learn about money from? Was it our parents? Was it, they teach us math in school, but what they don't teach us is they don't teach us how to make our money work for us. So many people work year after year, and still and they're still no better off than where they are right now in terms of money. So I want to go over these rules real quick with you. The first one is nothing new. It's called the rule of 72. Albert Einstein gets credit for it. Okay. And when it comes to the rule of 72, all we're doing is taking the interest rate. Think about where you have your money right now. And you take the interest rate, divide it into the number 72, and it's going to tell you approximately how long it will take for your money to double. Okay. The rule of 72 is the formula for compounding interest. Okay. And with that being said, there's a rule of 78, which is simple interest. So it's important that your money, if you're working hard for your money, make your money work hard for you by applying the rule of 72. So let's just take it into context. If your money is growing at 1%, let's just say, you know, so many people have savings account at banks. Let's pretend that the banks are giving you 1%, right? And we know that the banks are not giving 1%, but we're going to pretend that it is for sake of this illustration. 72 divided by 1% is equal to 72. So that means if your money is growing in an account that's yielding you 1%, it's going to take that money 72 years before it doubles. So let's just say that, you know, you're 29 years old. If you're 29 years old and you have $10,000 in that account, you'll be 101 before that 10,000 doubles to 20. Now, that's just too long to wait for money to double.
Facts.
Exactly. Right. Now, what if I told you that, you know, now your money is, let's just say you say, hey, Miss Powell, I can get so much better than 1%. I can get, you know, 6%. Okay, great. You know, if you're able to get 6%, that's where, you know, family B, you have a family A and you have family B. Family B is that top 5% of the wealthy class. They know where to get anywhere from 6 to 12% or higher. It's unfortunately, it's that family A, which is where most people fall into that. About 95% of people fall into the category of family A because they're earning $100,000 or maybe less. You know, they're working a job, you know, and they have this 401k, which that's a totally different series right there. But and so they're getting anywhere from 1 to 4%. Family A is, but family B is getting anywhere from 6% to 12% or even higher. So if you're getting 6% on your money, okay, 72 divided by 6, that means your money will double every 12 years. Now, if you're 29 years old with that same $10,000, you'll be 41 years old when that 10,000 double to 20, and 12 years later, you'll be 53 when that 20,000 doubles to 40. And then 12 years later, you'll be what, 65 when that 40 doubles to 80. Okay. Now that scenario is extremely different if you're yielding 12%. Now your money is doubling every 6 years. And now at age 65, if you start, first of all, if you start with the same $10,000 at age 29, okay, and every 6 years that money is doubling. Now your money just doubled at age 35. It doubled again at 41 and at 47 and then 53 and 59 and then 65. At age 65, you have $640,000 because the money doubled every 6 years as opposed to 12% and definitely as opposed to 1%. Now, some of the companies that we represent, how about they are yielding as high as 25% in interest?
Wow.
Yes. But guess what? Most people in family A have no clue where that is. Family B, they know where they can put money and have it work hard for them. Okay. So that's the first rule of money. And like I said, Albert Einstein gets credit for that because he's the one that came up with that formula for how compounding interest works. And so if that's the first rule of money, then the second rule of money is how money grows. Okay. How money grows. And in terms of how money grows, there's 3 different categories that your money can grow in. It can grow in a fixed account, a variable account, or an indexed account. Let's talk about the fixed account. Inside of the fixed account, the money is safe, right? The money is safe, but it's not outpacing inflation. And so when we talk about these fixed accounts, we're talking about like a savings account. We're talking about CDs, right?
Right.
So in this fixed account, if it's 1 or 2%, but inflation is 3 or 4%, your money is not working as hard for you as you're working for it. So it's safe, but yet it's not outpacing inflation. So what most Americans will do is they'll put their money in a variable account. Why do they do that? Because they want to get higher than 1 or 2% in interest. But guess what? Whatever goes up must do what?
come down.
Must come down. And that's how that variable account works. And so many people have their money tied to variable accounts like 401ks, 403bs, 457 plans. They're tied to the market. But you can gain a lot of money in the market, but you can also lose your shirt in the market.
That's right.
So what wealthy people do, and those who are knowledgeable about money, they take their money and put it in index strategies. Okay. So a lot of times when I sit down with families and share with them about this protection phase right here, because it's how money grows and it's also how you protect your money, I ask them about, have they ever heard about an index account? And they'll tell me, no, I never heard of it.
Right.
Well, let me tell you how the index account works. Inside of this index account, when the market goes up, the index goes up. But when the market goes down, guess what happens to the index? It locks in automatically and you don't lose a dime. So it sits there and it waits for the market to correct itself, and then it goes up again. So in an index account, and I wish that the viewers could actually see it because it shows how the market goes up and then it shows it having a lock on it. It goes sideways because it waits. Then when the market goes up again, then your money goes up again. When the market goes down into the negative, you don't participate in the losses. Okay. So imagine if we all knew about this many, many years ago. Okay. Fixed, variable, and index. So that is the protection phase of your money. This is how you protect your money right here. Okay. In this phase, except for a lot of people, if you don't know about it, how can you have your money there? And Warren Buffett, which is like the second wealthiest person on the planet, he actually told LeBron James, which is one of the reasons why LeBron James hit billionaire status, is because he listened to the advice of Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett told him, he said, son, put your money in index accounts. You can never lose money there. Because LeBron James asked him, he said, how can I turn my millions into billions? And that was the advice that that Warren Buffett gave to him, to put his money in index accounts. So now that's the second rule of money. Okay. So that's fixed, variable, and index. That's just how your money grows. Now, the third rule of money is how money gets taxed. Okay. You're going to be in a tax now bucket, a tax later, or a tax advantage bucket. This is the distribution phase. When you get ready to start pulling money out, these are the different buckets that you're going to be pulling from. Now, in a tax now account, these are things like a savings account, bank CDs, or a brokerage account, or mutual funds. You get taxed on that type of money in the same year that the interest was earned. And I really wish, are you able to pull up that email now? Because I resent it to you. I'm not sure if you have it, yearoflotus@gmail.com.
Yes. So I got the document. Let me see if it's going to allow me to share. Aha, here we go. We got it. All right.
Okay. Right.
Can you see it? Can you see it on the screen?
I sure can. This went away.
Okay, here we go. Yep.
Okay,
so you
awesome.
see it?
I sure can.
Okay, awesome. So if you can see it, our audience can see it.
Okay, awesome. This is so awesome because, I just went over like the rule of 72, which is the accumulation phase. And this is the area right here that most financial advisors focus on. Wall Street, they focus on getting you a big pile of money, but they don't say anything to you about how you protect it. If Wall Street is able to get me, $1 million, that's great. That's fine. But if the market goes down and I can lose it all, it's like, what's the point?
Right.
So the rules of money is Warren Buffett always said this. He said, the first rule of money is to never lose money. And the second rule of money is to never forget rule number 1. Okay.
Warren Buffett is funny, y'all.
So So, so again, most financial advisors, they focus on the accumulation, but they say nothing about how to protect the money. And again, how money grows, it can grow fixed, variable, or index. And as you can see with this index, you see how it looks like a stairway. I call it the stairway to heaven because, and I'm going to show it to you in a moment. I'm going to show it to you in a moment exactly how this index account works. When the market goes up, your money goes up. But when the market goes down, your money is safe because it locks in automatically. Then when the market goes back up, that's what I wanted to show your viewers right there. That's the protection phase of money. Okay? So you can get the highs of the market, but guess what? Your money is safeguarded from the losses. And so that's very important, that if you get a big bucket of money, why not protect it?
Yes.
Why not have it protected so that you get to keep it? And then, of course, the last one is how it gets taxed. I'd rather to pay taxes on my money up front and never have to pay taxes on it again. That's what happens in this tax advantage column. See, most people, their money is in the tax now or the tax later because they know very little about the tax advantage column, which is the column that wealthy people take advantage of.
Now I just want us to pause there for a hot second because I do have a couple of questions to ask. First and foremost, those of you who are on Instagram, thank you for tuning in today. And I will get to your question, Brother Rhythm, my time only. One of the things that you are missing from being on Instagram Live versus YouTube or Facebook is the PowerPoint slide that is showing. But don't fret. You can stay on Instagram Live now and then go back on Facebook or YouTube and actually see the video with the chart that she's speaking to. Okay. And that's the beautiful thing about all of this being recorded in archive is that you can always go back to it and study it. Now, when it comes to tax later, like many of us fall in that category, right? Where we have 401ks from our job or 401(3)Bs or IRAs or SEP or IRA as you have reflected in your chart here, annuities, pension plans, and we are getting hit with probably upwards to 20% ding on taxes and other interest fees that we're required to pay. Is there a way to roll whatever we have in our 401k into a tax advantage type situation where we can avoid the penalties and the tax requirements? Is that possible?
Well, here's the thing. I want you to look at each one of these columns as if there was a fence around each one of these columns, right? So like between the tax now and the tax later, imagine there's an imaginary line right there. In between the tax later and the tax advantage, there's a line right there. Okay. The IRS is the one that says how we're going to pay taxes on these. So if you move money from a 401k to like an IRA, that's in the same column, right? So you can move money from the 401k to that IRA, right? But if you cross over the line and you try and get this 401k, right, which is pre-tax dollars over here to money that has already been taxed, you're going to have to pay the piper before you can put your money over there.
Gotcha.
So there's no way to avoid paying those taxes on that money if you want to move it from this column to that column. You got to pay the taxes first and then it can go. So what we do is we look to see if it makes sense to even do that. Okay.
Gotcha.
We look to make, yeah.
So if you're in the beginning, then instead of opting into, instead of opting into a 401k plan, would it be, 401k plan, would it be better to just start a municipal bond or an IRA, a Roth IRA or something to that effect, or do both? Well,
this is what we do. Once a person is fully educated, because we come from the educational approach. Okay. I come from that position because once a person is educated about what their choices are, we let that person make the decision as to what they should do. I sat down with, as an example, one of my neighbors who she was about to start a new job. And she remembers seeing a presentation like this, plus some other things that my company showed. And she said, you know, I remember seeing some differences between the 401k and, you know, in one of these index accounts you were talking about. I want to get started with an index account. She made that decision because she had been educated about the choices or the differences. See, the problem is most people don't even know that they have a choice or that there's another option available. And so we let them come to that conclusion, because I would never tell anybody, oh, don't, you know, 401ks, you know, is horrible. You know, don't get, you know, I would never tell anybody that, because one of the things that a 401k is doing is it's forcing people to save.
Right.
It forces people to save. And saving something is better than saving absolutely nothing, you see.
Gotcha.
But then once you are educated about it, how it started, what its intentions were when it first started, and then you learn about the options that are available, then you come up with the conclusion as to what's best for you and your family.
Gotcha.
And everything that I just shared with you right here on the 3 rules of money is on the very next slide. You know, I wanted to show you the 3 rules of money, and then I wanted to show you in perspective what it looks like. So the very next screen, if you go back, this one right here. It's a comparison.
Okay.
This comparison right here is going to show all 3 rules of money of what I just shared with you in this illustration right here, in this example. So over on the left are your mutual funds, your 401ks, your IRAs. Okay. So in this column, let's just say that you started out with $250,000 in your 401k. And the person and person number B, they started out with $250,000 in their index universal life, or their 7702A. Okay. Also an internal revenue code. It's just an internal revenue code that most people just don't know about. So when it comes down to it, these are the actual numbers that were performed in the S&P 500 back in 1998. In 1998, the market did 26.6%. So that means if it did 26% on that 250,000, now that 250 went to 315, 150. Okay. Now, you remember I told you that we have companies that go as high as 25%.
Right.
Guess what? That's this company right here. Okay. This is the 25%. So if the market does 26, the highest you can get over here is 25. And I'm okay with that, because the company takes care of any negatives that happens over here. I'm not going to have a negative over here. So there's a trade-off. I can go as high as 25%, but when the market tanks and go down, my money locks in. So in 1998 and 99, when the market was in the positive, the 401k beat out this index universal life policy over here. All right. It only went to 371 versus 374 over here to the left. But in 2000, 2001, and 2, when the dot-com bubble burst, people lost nearly 40% of their 401k portfolio.
Yes, I see that.
You see that? You see how it went down to 225,000? But look at what happened over here. This is when zero is your hero.
Yes, because it means no loss.
No loss, and the money locked in automatically. You see that?
Yes.
And then in 2003 to 2007, positive returns. So you get the positive returns over here as well. Now, let me ask you, in 2008, when the housing market went crazy and people were losing their money like crazy, now you're at 207. You started at 250, and now you have 207. You have less than what you started with. That's why they call this the lost decade.
Wow.
It's considered the lost decade because money did not do very well for you. But if you look over here, you have $609,000. Why? Because you never lose money. And if you fast forward and go all the way down to when Corona hit in 2020, people lost money in their 401ks. People are afraid to look at their statements. You're not afraid to go to work, but you're afraid to look at your statement.
Yes.
And so now you have 465 versus almost $1 million.
Wow.
Do you see why the rich gets richer?
Why the poor get poor.
It's what they know. Okay. And look at this. By the way, you remember I told you rule number 3 of the money is how money gets taxed. There's no taxes over here as long as you follow the rules, right? So here's the thing. This is tax-free over to the right versus with your 401k, your mutual fund, or your IRA. When you start pulling money out at distribution, you're going to pay taxes on that money.
And penalties.
Well, if you're going to pay penalties if you pull the money out before you're 59 and a half, you're absolutely right. But when it's time for you to retire and you pull money out, are taxes likely to be higher or lower in the future?
Higher.
So what most people are doing, and most economists, first of all, would agree with you, Sister Lotus, they would definitely agree with you that taxes are likely to be higher in the future. So what most people are doing is they're putting off paying the taxes on these types of accounts until later, when later more of their money is going to go towards paying taxes.
Because it's going to be a higher tax requirement.
Exactly. You see? And so would you rather get $348,000 or $2.1 million?
You know, I appreciate these PowerPoint slides because the visuals are just outstanding. And I thank you for stepping us through this, because as I'm looking at what happened with COVID, more than likely those who pulled from their 401ks just to make it through they're not 59 years of age. So they were paying that interest and they were paying the penalty of an early withdrawal. Now, when it comes to the index, though, do you have the ability to pull from that money? And is there a penalty for that?
Absolutely not. Okay, so that's a great question. When it comes to this index account, okay, when it comes to the index, as long as you do not surrender and pull all of the money from this policy. See, most people, as a matter of fact, you hear what it says in the name, Index Universal Life.
Yes.
When it comes to having the right type of life insurance policy, it beats everything else out there on the market, because wealthy people realize that they can put money into these accounts and it can grow using compounding interest. And there's no 59 and a half rule, meaning that you have money in your account, you can pull that money out and never pay it back. And you don't pay any taxes on it. You don't pay any penalties on it. It's your money. Okay, for you to use how you want to use it. And so, it's meant to be a long-term program, not short-term. So it's not like you put money in it today and go back tomorrow and get it out.
Right.
I wouldn't recommend someone get a program like this if they're going to put it today. But if you have a hardship or if you need your money, as a matter of fact, there are people who pull money out of here to purchase, like, they may purchase or put down on a house. They use this for college fund for their kids. They use this to make purchases and then they pay themselves back.
Right.
You see, this is how you become your own bank.
Yes. And that has been circulating. I'm glad you used that language specifically, sis, because that has been circulating a lot online and maybe people don't understand exactly what that means. If you have this universal life policy and you're paying into it, you take a loan against it. You're not you're not completely liquidating it. You're taking a loan against it and you are the person who holds the note to that loan.
Right.
Because it's your policy. If I'm understanding that correctly, right?
Right. It's a loan that you never have to pay back. And because it's considered a loan, guess what? It makes it tax-free. It's one of the things that helps to make that thing tax-free.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome.
And then the next one. So hopefully everybody understands that. I mean, so when I share this information with people, and they see what their 401k is going through. It's going through the ups and the downs. And over here on the right-hand side, the Index Universal is going through the ups. And when there is a down, they stay steady. Okay. They don't lose a penny, not one penny. So then I let people make a decision as to what they want to do, because again, with the 401k, it's going to come out of their check before they even see it. And some people, believe it or not, because if they're really, really bad with money, they probably would be better off having a 401k. But if you're disciplined, okay, and you really want to create some substantial money for yourself, then the right side is definitely a great way to go. Now, everybody who wants one of these on the right-hand side doesn't necessarily qualify. So it's not like one of these sign-up programs like a 401k. This is how America retires today, Sister Lotus. You and I, we start a job at the same time. We start with this company at the same time. I don't know you, you don't know me, but we got a chance to meet each other, and we happy that we have this job, and and we're working, we're here in filling out our paperwork. And I'll say to you, so which one are you selecting for your 401k? Are you going to be high risk, moderate, or low? Oh, you tell me, hey, I'm high risk because I want to make sure my money grows fast. I say, okay, well, great. I'll check that too. And we both fill it out, sign our name to it, turn it into HR, boom. That's how America is retiring today. No one ever sat down with them to say, hey, how much money do I need to save in order to have $1 million in my account by the time I'm ready to retire? No one knows. What happens is by the time we're ready to retire, we're hoping that it works out.
Taking a shot in the dark.
A shot in the dark. On the other hand, I can sit down with that same, with the same people and say, hey, how much money do you want in your retirement? How much do you want per month? You want $10,000 a month in retirement? I'm going to take that 10,000, multiply it by 12. That's 120,000 a year. The average number of years that a person is in retirement is about 25 years. Now I'm going to take that 120,000 and I'm going to multiply it by 25 years. That's equivalent to $3 million. So if you want $10,000 a month in your retirement, let's plan for you to have an accumulation of $3 million. Now we're going to work towards that. You see, now I'm going to tell you, okay, in order to have that, let me show you how that works. This is how much you need to save. See, most people are saving like 5% in their 401k, or maybe 6 or 7 or 8%. It's because of what the company is matching. Well, just because they match you 5% doesn't mean that that's all you need to save. Because, no one knows what your financial independence number is. That's what I call a FIN number. What's your financial independence number? How much money do you need in your retirement? Most people have no clue.
And isn't that based upon the quality of lifestyle that you desire?
It absolutely is. Right. Yeah, exactly. If you desire a lifestyle that's saying $10,000 a month, someone else may have a lifestyle and say, hey, 2,000 is good for me. And so here's the thing. People just need to know that they have that there is a specific roadmap to helping you to get to where you say you want to be.
Okay, and you have another slide here.
Yes, I want to show that other slide right there.
A financial cake.
Yes, this is a financial cake. Now, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
What is your favorite cake, Sister Lotus?
Ooh, my favorite cake. What is my favorite cake? I would say red velvet.
Oh, wow. Okay. My neighbor makes a great red velvet. Okay. So this red velvet cake, that's your favorite cake. Let's just say, let's just leave out the sugar. Let's leave out the sugar in your cake. So is that the same red velvet cake that you're anticipating taking a bite out of?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. Let's just forget about the milk or the eggs. Is there any ingredients in that cake that if you leave it out, will that be the same cake? And the answer to that is no, right?
Absolutely not.
Well, when it comes to your financial cake, it's the same exact thing. Okay. When it comes to starting this financial cake, you don't start with the icing first, right? To put on your cake, you got to start with the things that go inside of the bowl, like the eggs and the butter and things of that nature.
The cake itself.
Exactly. So when it comes to the financial cake, it's very important that you start with the foundation, because you don't build a house from the roof down. You build it from the bottom up.
Right.
So when it comes to a financial cake, it's important that you have protection in place first before you start saving money to build wealth. And that's the problem that so many people miss. When I say protection, what type of protection am I talking about? I'm talking about life insurance protection. You need to have that in place first, because if you're working to save $1 million, for your future, okay, so let's just say you started with the wealth first and something happened to your health. Now you're going to take your wealth in order to try and preserve your health. When that protection piece at the bottom, as long as that protection piece includes your health, and I'm going to show that to you on the next screen. So if you are diagnosed with cancer, if you have a heart attack, or you have a stroke, or if you have a long-term care need, let that protection piece right there take care of all of that, so that you don't have to take it out of your wealth when you do start building your wealth. Let that take care of that for you. And so many people say, well, instead of paying this money in premium, I'll just save it up. That sounds great if you know what your death date is, right? See, we all know what our birth date is, but no one knows what their death date is.
That's right.
So if you're trying to save $1 million, and instead of you paying the premium into a policy that can give you $1 million day one, you can purchase $1 million life insurance policy, right? And so if something happens to you, now $1 million transfers over to your family, to the next generation, and you're good. But if you live too long, guess what? You can still use the money inside of that program, like the one that I showed you on the previous screen. So it has you, if you die too soon, it pays a check to your family. If you live for a long time, it pays you. Okay. And if you have a critical or chronic illness, it takes care of you you don't have to worry about taking money out of your wealth pile in order to take care of your health, because the protection piece takes care of that. Awesome. And then as you go up in with this financial debt management, it's important that you focus on getting out of debt and building your emergency fund at the same time. So if you're putting $200 towards your debt, you need to be putting $200 in your emergency fund. That's why they're side by side.
Nice ratio. Nice ratio to let us know that. So wait, before you move on, with that said, if we're doing equal amount to debt versus emergency fund, what is the ratio between those two and the protection? Because it's at the bottom, it has the largest amount. Is there a percentage of our income that should go towards our protection?
There is a percentage that should go towards your entire financial cake, period. And that is about 30 to 35%. See, back in the day, people used to say, hey, save 10%, save 10%. For sure, if you want to be poor, you save 10%. If you want to be okay, you save 20% of your income. But if you want to be wealthy, you save at least 30% or more of your income. The problem is with most people, we're just not saving enough money. We're spending so much more than what we're saving. Okay.
But honestly, ANETHIA, this is the first time that I'm even hearing this, and I'm sure many of our viewers, it's the first time as well. 10% tithing, from the days of being in the church.
Yeah.
That does not change. You still tithe, you still give your 10%. However, what you're referring to is for the here and the now moving forward. And this is the first time I'm hearing that we should be allocating that amount of money to our wealth building. I've heard, the percentage that should go to rent versus utilities and things of that nature. But this is the first time I'm hearing this. Why is it that we are not sharing this percentage, which is a very important percentage, with our community? Why are we not hearing this?
Well, here's the thing. When you're in circles with, my circle extend to 7-figure, there's a different language that the 7-figure income earners have that people that are not in that circle, they just don't have these conversations. Okay. And so as a matter of fact, I just got back from Mexico, Cancun, Mexico. My husband and I won this wonderful trip. And we were around nothing less than, people who are making $8 million a year, 6 million, 5 million, that kind of thing. And the conversations are different. Okay. Those conversations are different. And when it comes to the amount of money that they save and they put away, these people are actually putting away about 50%.
Wow.
Of their income. They're putting away 50% into different buckets like the one I'm telling you about right here, except for theirs doesn't have debt in it. Okay. So they were able to get out of debt and put more money towards emergency fund. And the reason why so many people go into debt is because they don't have these different things outlined like what I'm showing you right here. They have debt. Yes, they're taking care of their debt. They're going to pay their debt before they do anything else. And guess what? Other groups are paying themselves first. Okay. You pay yourself first. You'll find a way to pay that debt. Okay. Especially if you're allocating your money in the right way. So what happens is, you see where this fund savings is right here? Most people don't have a fund account. They don't have an emergency account. Do you know the average family can't put their hands on $400 to take care of an emergency?
I can believe it, because we're living check to check.
Right. And so if they don't have an emergency fund, that means they automatically go into debt, because if they have a credit card and they have something happen to their car, that car just went on that credit card as opposed to going for the emergency fund. Right. So it's not a matter of if you're going to have an emergency. It's a matter of when. So why not be prepared for it and have an account that has emergency fund attached to it? Take care of that emergency from there. And if you have money if you don't have enough money in your emergency fund like you should, right, which we say, hey, you need at least 3 to 6 months worth of emergency fund. That's to take care of all of your debt, including the mortgage, everything. Have at least 3 to 6 months. I tell my clients, you need 6 to 12 months. And so that's where I'm having them to hit, a lot of my clients, and I go back and I sit with them, every 6 months and say, hey, where are we? And when you've got somebody that's accountable, that you're accountable to, I'm not their, boss or anything like that. Right. But if you know that somebody's going to come back and they're watching what you're doing, you want to make sure that it's intact and it starts feeling good to them, to build these muscles. See, we just need to build the muscles of saving. We can do anything we put our mind to. We are a powerful people.
Absolutely.
But we get this part right, Sister Lotus, the sky is the absolute limit. You hear me? And so when it comes to that fund savings, if you don't have money in your fund savings, don't take a trip. It's simple as that. Don't go on vacation on borrowed money because you're having to put it on a credit card. Don't go. Wait until you get yourself in a situation to where you've taken care of your debt. Let us show you how to. And we have a debt management. It's called the debt snowball. I show people how to get out of debt using that and increasing their emergency fund. And then once you've saved money for your trip, guess what? The reason why so many people, it's hard for them to build wealth is because they're taking money from their credit card to go on vacation, and they don't have an emergency fund. So if you don't have all of these things structured properly, it's hard to build wealth and to leave the money there for the wealth building.
Awesome. And then the last part of the cake, the top of the cake is?
Well, that's the building of the wealth. Okay. So once you have the protection, the debt management, emergency fund, the fund saving, now it's time to start putting more money away to building that nest egg of what I was showing you over there, because there's such thing as overfunding that account. You remember that 25% that I showed you in that 2.1 million? There's a way of putting more money into that. You don't put more money into that until you make sure that these things right here are in place.
Got you.
Okay.
Got you.
And then
Now, the question of all questions for viewers, and I do have a question that's coming in from Instagram that I want to make sure that I get to as well. If you're already with limited funds, what is the answer?
Well, if you have limited funds, and there's a way of, we have what is called a revenue sharing program, and that may be a totally different series that maybe we want to talk about as well. But because so many people don't know how to make their money work for them, we have a revenue sharing program wherein we're looking for people to help get this word out. Okay? So imagine if someone who doesn't have enough money, if I'm showing you how to help other people manage their money, or educate them about money and how it really works, because I've trained and taught you how to do that. Now, guess what? The company is going to compensate you for doing that. And the financial services industry is one of the most lucrative industries you can be in. We get paid anywhere from, a lot of time from $6,000 to $10,000 for helping clients with this information that I'm giving you right now. And it comes from the company, not from the client. So if a person is not making enough money, I show people how to just simply make more money. Okay. Right. So there's no problem that making more money won't solve. Most people just simply need to make more money. And I show people how to do that as well.
Awesome. Awesome. And we have this last slide because we're getting down to the last 9 minutes, and I want to make sure you don't feel rushed going through this last slide.
Okay. So when it comes to that protection piece that you saw on that previous slide, it's the foundation for building. That's the foundation for starting to build wealth in the first place, is having proper protection in place. Okay. So when we talk about that, we're talking about the new generation of life insurance, not the kind that your mom, your dad, your grandparents had back in the day, where you remember the man used to come to the house and pick up, a few pennies or whatever. That was industrial policies. This thing today is absolutely amazing. Imagine if you had a heart attack. Okay. No one wants to have a heart attack, but normally if you have a heart attack, you can't just get right back up and go to work. You're losing income. You have to wait until the short-term disability on the job, if you have that, kick in, and all of this kind of stuff. Well, imagine receiving a check for $100,000, $200,000, $250,000. You getting a check that's going to help make sure that you recover before you have to even go back to work. Okay? And it takes the load off of that family, knowing that, hey, I'm not going to get kicked out of my house because I'm not able to work.
Right.
So when we say have proper protection in place, we're talking about critical illnesses. If you have a heart attack, a stroke, cancer, ALS, you need a major organ transplant, end-stage renal failure, blindness from diabetic retinopathy, paralysis of 2 or more limbs. Imagine getting up to 90% of the value of your policy. So if you have a $500,000 policy, that's $450,000 that you can potentially receive while you are living. We're not talking about the old kind of insurance or protection for where you have to die in order for it to pass on to your family. We're talking about, what if you live? Okay. And then chronic illness. If you are unable to perform 2 of the 6 activities of daily living, like you can't bathe yourself, continence, holding it in, dressing yourself, eating, toileting, or transferring from a bed to a sofa, if you can't do 2 of those 6 things as deemed by your doctor, now you're getting 24% of the policy value annually. Okay? So, and then terminal illness, of course, if you're terminal ill, then, you'll be able to receive up to 100% of the value of that policy. And then what about disability? If you become disabled and you can't work, you get sick or hurt and you can't work, now you're able to receive a disability income from your life insurance. Who knew that life insurance could do all of this? The right type of life insurance beats everything else on the market. And most people, when they hear the word life insurance, they run from it. Wealthy people run towards it because they know with the right type, it can do all of these things. 401k can't touch it, and it helps to preserve your income if you get sick.
Now, my question is, if you have preconditions, can you even qualify for this?
Depending on what those conditions are. I was able to help a young lady who had, what is it called? oh goodness, thyroid issue. She's on some type of Synthroid for the rest of her life. And she was able to get preferred elite. So it depends on what it is. And then we have what is called the $1 million baby. If if you can put it on a child to help that child reach their destination, you can also possibly reach yours, because the money that's inside of that thing grows, and it grows very, very nicely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Boy, we have been well fed today. Let me get to Brother Rhythm and My Time Only here on Instagram. He said, are there some books and materials that you can recommend to further study and research? Excellent question.
Absolutely. I have a library of books. As a matter of fact, for your listeners today, if they want an electronic version of, and I wish I could show this, I'm holding it up as if you can see me, but it's Money, Wealth, Life Insurance, How the Wealthy Use Life Insurance as a Tax-Free Personal Bank to Supercharge Their Savings. It's by Jake Thompson, which is the #1 bestseller. I can send this to them in an electronic format, either on their phone or to their email. If they want to send, if they send me a request for it, info@powellbenefitgroup.com, I can send it to them, or they can just simply order this book from Amazon. Money, Wealth, Life Insurance. It's by Jake Thompson. That's a great one. And then another one is The Retirement Miracle by Patrick Kelly. Okay, The Retirement Miracle. And it's telling you everything that I've just shared with you. I mean, if you want me to keep going with books, they say in order, where do you keep a secret? All of this information that I'm telling you is nothing new. Walt Disney was started using cash value in the life insurance policy. That's how it would be no happiest place on earth without what I'm telling you right now. And because that's where he got his money from. He pulled it from his pocket because he couldn't find any investors that would help him with his dream.
Look, and he's a whole lot happier than even we are, right?
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. Jason Kenny got started this way. Right? So there's a lot of books on it. Look Before You Lurk by David McKnight. I mean, I can just keep going on and on and on. The Power of Zero. I mean, we'll go through all of those maybe on another show where I can actually show a list of books, because I have that in a PowerPoint as well.
Awesome. This is great, great stuff. I tell you, sis, look, I tell you, I just have to say thank you, and thank you. Look, my audience, they're giving me love. We thank you so much, because you shared some wonderful, wonderful things with us today. And definitely we have a better understanding of the rules of money and how we need to negotiate it. And so we are looking forward to you coming back next week as we talk about what can be done if you have bad credit. Because so many businesses, especially now, even if you had great credit going into the quarantine, your credit may not look the same coming out.
Right.
And it doesn't look like we're coming out of it anytime soon, right? Especially with this variant strain and things of that nature. So, but we need to know what we can do to navigate in spite of all of those things, in spite of those challenges. And if you have managed to maintain your credit, man, kudos to you. I'm sure Sister ANETHIA can share what are some off the chart things that you can do with your credit being intact for your business, as well as for your personal, if it bleeds over into that. So I'm looking forward to it. I just want to give the last couple of seconds, if you wouldn't mind sharing your contact information so that our viewers can get in contact with you.
Okay. You can reach me at 404-707-8180. That's my cell.
707. I'm putting it in the chat. 707.
So 404 and then 707-8180.
Got it. Okay.
And then info@powellbenefitgroup.com.
Awesome. And we are going to check in with our sponsors one last time before we get out of here. I'm just putting this in the chat, y'all, so that you can reach out to Sister ANETHIA Powell and ask more questions, and perhaps you can utilize her services. I want to thank those of you who are on Instagram Live for tuning in with us today. I see Sister Brenda B joined us today. How you doing, Sister BB? And I want to thank all of you for joining us on YouTube and Facebook. I anticipate this circulating far and wide because this is information that we need to know, fam. We need to know how to better handle our money, because we can talk all the talk we want about generational wealth, but if we're not putting our boots on the ground and handling our money the way we need to, it is all a pipe dream. And so we really need to go ahead and make our vision a reality by really doing the work and having the knowledge. Because, man, if I learned anything today, it reinforced that knowledge is power. And so I'm so grateful that you are willing to share your knowledge with us so that we can be empowered by what you share. And prayerfully next week, we'll work on getting this video thing worked out, right? Because we want to see your beautiful face. We want to see who is sharing this incredible information with us. So without further ado, we're going to just check out our sponsors, and then we'll close out and get out of here this week.
Awesome.
Royal Sankofa Tours, bridging the gap and changing the narrative. We are now booking our fall tours to Ghana, West Africa, October 27th through November 6, 2021. Ghana is home to beautiful people, rich culture, tantalizing food, and amazing attractions. Book our 10-day tour today at royalsankofatours.world. royalsankofatours.world. Come home to Mama Africa. Hey!
This episode of BBI Talks is brought to you by our proud sponsor, Abdullah Daniels Group, LLC. We are a full-service life insurance agency that represents multiple carriers in all 50 states. For more details, log on to our website at adgllc.org or call us at 404-561-7480. Abdullah Daniels Group, Life Insurance Agency.
P.S. Naturally Yours 1614 Oil. Let all things be done with love. 1614 is a nourishing hair, skin, and nail oil cultivated to transform your self-care routine with our unique natural essential oils that features sweet vanilla, citrus with a hint of cinnamon. P.S. Naturally Yours 1614 Oil is now available at psnaturallyyours.com.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for checking out BBI Talks today and every Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I am your Professor Karima Lotus. And don't forget that this is your platform, the platform where Black business leaders and owners can discuss issues that matter to us. Until next week, you know what it is. It's BBI Talks.
We gotta bring businesses back. My business is black. My business is black as the universe. I know why they mad, they gotta react, cause we're universal influencers. I can supply you the man, get what I need out the land. The earth is the kingdom of God. Glad that I know where I am. We gotta bring businesses back. My business is black. My business is black as the universe. I know why they mad, they gotta react, cause we're universal influencers. I can supply you the man. I can supply you the man. Get what I need out the land. Glad that I know where I am.